Yeah, good morning. This is Bang Bang Rail. Just a little podcast before I go out. Yeah, just come back from a little walk and mate, I just walked up. There's a at the back of here. There's a hill. I swear to God, you get halfway up and you've got to stop for air. You know, I'm trying to go through it. Yeah, because the old lungs. But I'm trying to go through it, and I'm getting better and better every day. Yeah, I'm doing it twice a day, and it's hard work. Yeah, but I'm getting there. Yeah. Anyway, it's not about that. It's about years ago when I worked in the venue, Victoria. There was a geezer called Miller. He's the one that got Bigsy out from Brazil and mucked it up, yeah. And he was ex Scottish Guardsman and ex SAS, they say he was. I don't know how true that was, but that's what they say. And I remember being in the venue. I remember being on the door with a few of my pals, and he came in, Miller. He came in with a few of his mates. Thought he was going to take over the venue. I think he's got hold of he got hold of Richard Branson and Barbara Dixon. But it was Barbara Dixon there at the minute, and he was talking to her. Good looking cut, Miller. I've got to say that. Good looking cunt. Good looking guy. Sorry about swearing. Good looking guy. Uh, wasn't big, tall guy. With a few guys, looked a bit flash. You know what I mean? Looking around at the venue. Um, we have reason to believe that he was trying to take over from us. He had no chance, mate. He had no chance. To me, he was just a normal person. SAS or whatever he was, to me, he meant nothing. You know what I mean? He wasn't anybody special. And we had a few words in his ear. But I think he was involved with Richard Branson over getting Bigsy back from Brazil, which I'm actually sure about it. I mean, people that watching my comments, I like to get back to me on that comment about Miller. Um, I'm trying to find out what myself more about it. Really, I know that he went over there and he got stopped and he come back and then he went back to Brazil again, Bigsy, and he come back to this country later on and got done about I don't know what, not even 6 months, 9 months, something silly like that, and got released, yeah, and died, yeah. But in a way, think about it. I don't think that what they done was right to get Bigsy back after all them years, 20 odd years in over there. You know, it's a bit out of order. Um, it don't matter who you are, mate. Don't matter who you are. I mean, come on, he's supposed to be a mercenary. You know, a mercenary. Yeah, ex SAS going over to get Bigsy at about the age of 70 or just 8 years of age. That takes some doing, I bet. Jesus Christ. And they still muck that up, yeah? And they still muck that up. So it says a lot about them, doesn't it? But, I'm a bit upset about, the way they went around that. I mean, I was in the scrubs with all the other lot, when they was all in the laundry. And they was all right. There was nice guys. So what? So they hit someone there and he died. I mean, that wasn't didn't mean to kill him. It wasn't meant. It wasn't meant. It was a big robbery. It was because it was something to do with the government, the post office. That's why they got the bird they got. And I think it was a bit below the belt really to give them that sort of bird. And obviously, so there was a lot of money. I mean, how about going to a phone box, yeah, and finding what 200 grand, 200 grand in all pound notes. You know what I mean? And then 200 gram was like, I don't know what, three-quarters of a million, three-quarters of a mil. It was worth what it is today. And it was all pound notes, £5 notes. I'm not quite sure if there's any £10 notes. Maybe there was. I can't remember if £10 notes was around that time. But I know that the £1 note and the £5 note were. Imagine that. That was fantastic. When you think about it, that was a fantastic robbery, and really they clamped up after that one, didn't they? Letting money come. I mean, I remember years ago in the Great Western Railway over Acton that way, they opened a wagon, like a wagon from the old puffer trains, and it was filled up with barrels of 50p's. One barrel fell off and fell on the floor, and it was all 50p's. A couple of kids got in there and helped themselves to it. Imagine that, a whole container full of 50p's. That's how they used to transport it, money transport in them days. it wasn't worried about security. No security. Look at it now. You've got that water game. You've got this game. Robberies are finished. Robberies are finished. Armed robberies are finished all over now. You can't even do it. You've got no chance. You know what I mean? You've got no chance. I mean, look at even when they done Hatton Garden robbery, it come on top for them. Only because they was talking too much in pubs and bits and pieces. But there had to be a supergrass on it. They'd not let know who it was, but there's got to be a supergrass involved. Someone they sold the stuff to, who wanted a little bit more than they give them, I suppose. And anyway, so people on comments can let me know about that too. But when I talk about that Miller, I mean, when he comes to the venue, I fancy my chance with that guy. You know what I mean? He didn't mean that to me, Miller. Tall, good-looking guy. You know, I think I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if we had a row, me and Miller. I'm not quite sure. I think we fucked him off out of it. I think he was going to come back with with a few more people and try and take over. We just fucked him off. You know what I mean? I mean, how dare he come to where we work because he's doing a big security company. He wants to come and take our work. We ain't having it, mate. We weren't having that. You know what I mean? And the people I was with could have a row. They ain't going to stand for that either. Anyway, that's what happens. And as I say, I don't know Richard Branson. I've got a funny feeling Richard Branson was involved with the money side of things, giving Miller the money and the boat and all this, that and the other, because Richard Branson had all that sort of thing around him. Some say it was Margaret Thatcher's son, but I think it was something to do with Richard Branson. Personally, myself, I can't see Miller being there for any other reason. Not take our security, maybe, but I don't think so. You know what I mean? And as I say, I never ever see him after that. Didn't fancy him at all. And I used to go to all the clubs. I mean, I used to go to all the clubs when I was with my other mates. I used to go to all the clubs, you know, Fidenzis, Pal Joey's, Bootleggers, Blondes, Samanthas, fucking China Whites. I mean, all them clubs we used to go to. I mean, every Friday night to Sunday, and all them clubs. I used to look after all that lot. I mean, in the end of the night, I had about 12 people to look after, so it's just me, yeah. But anyway, people knew I was with, the company that I was with, so they knew not to cause any problems because the people I was with, most of them was from that company, so people knew not to play games, yeah. You know, and I was happy doing what I was doing. You know, I mean, it was only I'm talking about this Miller because somebody mentioned it on my comments when I was talking about the venue. Someone said, "Oh, we remember when we was there that you had a bit of trouble with a guy called Miller," and I can't. I'm looking back in my old head to try and think of it, but I can remember me and him having words. I can remember him coming in with two guys, and I can remember him being around Barbara Dixon, and I can remember also Richard Branson being wrapped around him for a bit of time. So, you know, put two and two together and it makes four, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So, you know, put it where it is, and that's what happens. And I think Bigsy, maybe he was happy to come back and finish his sentence. I doubt it very much. Come on, who wants to be banged up in a cell? You know what I mean? After you've been living in Rio de Janeiro in that nice sunny weather, married to a young woman, having all them people give you £200 every hour, giving his story. Come on, who wants that? That's what he was getting. He was getting about £200. I think it was £200, £300 every time he talked to people about the crime, and all that. Come on, he must have had two or three people, a little company of people a day. He must have been on £1,000 a day. In Rio de Janeiro, it's good money, you know what I mean? So I hold my hands up to Bigsy. They say he was a nobody. He was a nobody on the bank, on robbery, on the train robbery. There was no one. I think he was. I think he was someone for them to get him out of. I know. What's his name? Crikey. Brown, Ronnie Brown. Ronnie Brown. Listen to me. I was away with Ronnie Brown and his brother. Ronnie Brown was one of the people that got Bigsy out of Wandsworth. I believe Ronnie Brown's dead. This guy was about 5'7", 5'8", Ronnie Brown. Short, stocky guy. And he could really, really have it, Ronnie Brown. I mean, he wasn't afraid of no man. He definitely wasn't afraid of me. I mean, come on. I remember Ronnie Brown in prison. had a few words with him. His brother was a little bit backward, a little bit, and he used to do, when he used to go out on the green, he used to run for 2 hours, honestly, just run for 2 hours solid, with no vest on, just his short, no matter what weather it was, he'd be out there running. He was black. I think they called him Blackie, I'm not quite sure, because of the tan he had on him. I think Ronnie Brown was a bit, he had a bit of a dark tan about him, but he could have well Ronnie Brown. I mean, there's people out there now in the comments would know Ronnie Brown, and that he got BC out. Fair play to him, mate. He takes some arsehole to get someone out from a prison in a van, on top of the van and put, that takes a lot of arsehole. And old man's up to Ronnie Brown, a big, powerful man, and he showed his power, yeah? In them days, they had plenty of arsehole. Today, they've got everything wrapped around them, everything, and all they're talking about what I want to do is fly drones into prisons with drugs. Fucking hell, mate. Why not smash a fucking wall down and get your mates out of prison? That's even better, isn't it? I don't know. You know what I mean? In them days. But now they've got everything. They've got the JCBs, they've got the fucking pull the wall down. You know what I mean? The gates and fences and all that. If you're going to do it proper. Anyway, I don't want to get involved in that because I'm straight as a die now. I'm just talking out loud the way things could be done now, but in them days, to pull up a van outside the wall, jump on the van, throw a rope down and pull him up is a feat. It's a feat by itself, you know what I mean? Especially Wandsworth Prison, because Wandsworth Prison in them days, God, it was hell. It was hell, mate. I remember being in Wandsworth in the 70s, right? It was like a nut house, mate. The screws in there were bully boys. They used to steam into yourself, 4 or 5-handed, batter you, take you down a block, or drag you down a block, smash you. You weren't even allowed to step anywhere over the centre. I don't know if it's still the same, but I remember when Chelmsford burnt down, I'm walking from to another wing from the time I trod on the chief's foot. I'm walking, I've got a shirt on. Listen, I was like massive. They couldn't even get a shirt to fit me. They got a shirt that was about, I don't know, massive, like a tent around my waist. And I couldn't do the buttons up on the wrists because my arms were so big. The shoulders were massive. I couldn't do the up anywhere near my top button because my shoulders were so big. And you got a screw runs across the centre, saying to me, "Do your shirt up." What? Do your shirt up, or get a bigger shirt. I said, "Mate, it's the biggest shirt you got. This is a 22-inch neck. This is the biggest shirt you've got here. It's massive. Do my shirt up. Do it up. If you can do it up, Maester, I'll promise you, I'll do it up every day, top button." He was trying so hard, mate. He went mad. He went, "Get a needle and cotton and move the buttons." Get a needle and cotton and move the buttons. Are you sure? I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "It can only be moved about half an inch. That's going to make no difference." "Well, take that shirt off and get yourself a t-shirt and make yourself known that you can't get a shirt to fit you." And he went, going mad about a button. Come on, that's what it was in Wandsworth Prison. And they've hurt a lot of people. And I told you before that Frankie Fraser got hold of the Beast. The Beast was his name, the governor, and he hung his dog on a tree outside Wandsworth Prison. He was a bad man, Frank. He couldn't have a row. He couldn't fight to save his life. But he was a dangerous person that wouldn't give in to nothing. Patrick and Dave are similar in a way. They don't take no bullets. I mean, when I was in prison with Dave, and I was in prison with Patrick Fraser, nice people, they didn't stand shit from. As it happens, Patrick looks more like his dad than any of the others. I'm not quite sure about Frank, young Frank, if he looks like his dad. I've not seen Frank, but I've seen David and Patrick. Good workers, mate. Proper people. Nice people. I like them. I like Pat and I like David a lot. You know, good gentlemen, mate. They were gentlemen people, especially David. David was a gentleman. David and Patrick, they could have been different in prison. They could have been bad people, but it wasn't. They was nice people. Um, I remember Patrick in Chelmsford with us. I think David was with us also in Chelmsford. Nice people. Chelmsford prison was the best prison ever. Was the best prison ever. In any prisons in England, Chelmsford was the best. You had what you done. You done what you wanted to do. You ate what you wanted to eat, and you just made yourself like a palace. If you can make it like a palace, you made it like a palace. Carpets, curtains, bedspread, a lighter spun round. All these things were brought in by prison officers. You couldn't have that lot you know, everybody had them. Lots of people had them. The people, I was on the landing. I was on the ones, the twos actually. I was on the twos. Uh, Jimmy Tibbet was on the twos. Ronnie Bender was on the twos. Frankie Fraser was on the twos. Togi Ludlow was on the twos. There was a lot of people on the twos. Peter Lyons was on the twos. Mickey Green was on the twos. Tony Edlin was on the twos. Everyone was on the twos. It was a good landing, you know what I mean? And you got exactly whatever you wanted. People would cook every day, cook proper meals, right? Lamb chop, pork chop, steak, kidneys, liver, bacon, anything you want, they want to cook, they'd cook. Because Jimmy Tibbs, was one of the best people we could ever meet. He was a gentleman. I've heard young Jimmy Tibbet, say about his life in prison and how he hated it. I know, he went through a lot, Jimmy, I suppose. It was a good fighter, mate. He lost a good license. He didn't have it hard, mate. He had it easy. He had it easy, Jim. He had it easy. I mean, he was with his brothers, his dad. I mean, maybe so. Obviously, when you're married, you got kids. It ain't easy, mate, when you're in prison. You know what I mean? It's hard, but every time I see Jimmy, he was always running, always training, always shadow boxing. I like Jim. I like young Jimmy too. And I met him when at the at Eubanks stretch fight. He was on the stage with me, and I like Jim. I like him a lot, mate. He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman, mate, but can have a right fight. And he was a good boxer. The old man built like a brick shit house, massive. His arms were huge. I see him in the gym. Never ever before touched the weight. I see him bench press 100 kilos for 10 reps. Never touched the weight in his life before. 100 kilos is a lot of weight for you never been in the gym. His arms were massive, but I think he used to work in Spitfield. Spitfield, one of the meat markets in Spitfield. I'm not quite sure, but he used to work in there. He used to cut up joints and pigs and all them sort of things. So you can imagine the strength he had in his shoulders and on his wrist. His wrist was absolutely massive, mate. Massive, very powerful man, yeah. And some good people in there. Some good people in, mate. And people, like I've spoken about before, Ronnie Bender. I mean, I like Ron. Ronnie Bender didn't have to prove himself. Another one, ex-SAS. Trained to be in the SAS. I mean, anybody that trains to be in the SAS, you're proper people. Miller, ex-SAS commando, and Scottish Marine in the Scottish Guards and all that. Proper people. People that train. I mean, they all got their own little bits and pieces what they do. Someone's good at guns, someone's good at the knife, someone's good this, someone's good that. You know what I mean? And they've all got that, yeah. And then people were dropped wherever they was dropped, mate. 10 of them, and they'd wipe out the platoons. They'd wipe out 200 people, 300 people. By the 6 of them would wipe them out. These are special men. These are men that should be looked at. These are men that sleep on the pavement sometimes. The government let them sleep on the pavement, but they save people's lives. This is something that I'm really against. I'm really against what the government do with these people. Let them lie in the streets, in shops that are empty. They can't open the doors of the shops and let them in and let them go to sleep, yeah? And yet they get soaking wet, they've got a little dog there, and they've been in the army looking after us. And yet the government let people come across the ocean in boats, 30, 40 handed, right? All young men, no women, all young men, 24 to 30, young men, come across the channel, all military, mate. Don't worry about that, all military. The government let them get in, take them to the city, put them in a hotel. Come on, is that correct? Is that correct? I was speaking to someone the other day that went to a hotel and it cost them, I think it was £150 a night to stay in the hotel. And yet, there was illegal immigrants in the same hotel, staying in the same rooms for nothing. They were staying in the same rooms for nothing, and the people that went there had to pay £150 a night. And also, the people were telling me, when they got into the room, the kettles were absolutely filthy, where the people in there before, must have been the illegals, right, they cooked their spaghetti in there, cooked their noodles in the kettle, and cooked their boiled eggs in the kettle. What is going on in this country? What is going on? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy that all these things are allowed. I don't know, mate. It just makes me feel sick. And do you know what I mean? And then they go, and then they get people to go all the way over to Brazil and to take someone like Ronnie Biggs, after 20 odd years, being straight, never hurt no one, bring them back to England. Come on. Where is it, mate? And yet bringing people across the water that are in bomb and fighting countries, war zone countries, that these people that have been carrying guns, machetes and knives are coming across the water with guns, machetes and knives, that they're more likely throwing overboard and picking them up later. Right? Come on. I don't understand what's going on. I really don't understand what's going on. Perhaps I don't know. Perhaps you can enlighten me on it. I don't know what's going on. But all I do know is there's good people out there sleeping on the street when they should be sleeping in hotels, or they should be given somewhere to sleep. Anyway, this is I don't want to get involved in politics because it ain't my thing. I'm allowed to say a little something. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Rail. Please like and subscribe and have a nice day and don't get too sunburnt. No chance. Bye.